You are watching the Lemonaid Podcast with Amar Law Group. Join us as we unlock the secrets and expert tips you need to know now.
Hey everyone, welcome back to an all-new episode of the Lemonaid Podcast with experienced lemon law attorney Shalev Amar, where we talk about how lemon laws protect consumers from defective vehicles. I'm your host, Mike Leon. Today's episode, we're talking about an intermittent defect that dealership claims they can't replicate. I've been there, folks. Trust me. When a problem comes and goes or only happens under certain conditions, it can leave people feeling ignored, dismissed, and stuck with a dangerous or unreliable vehicle. Shalev's going to explain why intermittent issues still matter and how consumers can protect themselves when the dealership can't seem to find the problem. Shalev, I'm going to channel all my frustrations into these type of questions. So when a defect in a vehicle, it happens sometimes intermittently, like I said in the intro. What makes it harder for the drivers to get the dealership to really take the issue serious?
Hi, Mike. Yeah, that's super challenging because, of course, it seems to be happening pretty often when you're driving your vehicle. You take it into the dealership for repair under warranty. All of a sudden, magically, the problem is not happening. That can be super, super frustrating and aggravating. So what I recommend to do in that situation is first and foremost, go on a test drive with the repair people, with the service advisor or the foreman, or any other repair person at the dealer. Typically going on a test drive with them, you can then show them exactly what's happening. So if it's vibrating in certain situations at certain speeds, you can be like, see, now it's vibrating at this speed. Or if there's some kind of noise coming from the engine, but it's only under certain conditions, you can drive the vehicle in a way that replicates the condition where that will occur. And so test drive is first and foremost what I recommend. Another alternative is have a passenger drive with you in your car and take their phone out and just record when the issue is happening. It can catch the audio or the visual if there's like vibration. And so that's what I recommend in those situations.
Shalev, let me ask you, in your experience, what kind of intermittent vehicle problems tend to show up the most often that you've seen in lemon law cases?
Let's say the most common tend to be, when it comes to intermittent problems, tend to be vibrations, noises, stalling, non-starting. Those are the most common things that we see.
So in that case, how important is it for the consumers to document, like you said, right? If they're at the dealership, take it for a test drive, but they're not at the dealership right now. What should they be documenting, like in terms of exact conditions, like you said, speed, temperature, how long the car's been running? How would you recommend that they document all this?
Exactly some of the things that you're saying. What you want to do is replicate the condition where that's happening and have a passenger record, video and audio record what is going on. And then you should describe the problem as they're recording and like point to it if you can, like point to the dashboard if it's vibrating. Something that's very helpful for proving vibration is to take a cup of water, for example, put it in the cup holder, and then through the water, it's another proof point for showing vibration.
That's a great idea. Never would have thought of any of that. So let me ask you, because in a previous episode, we talked about repair orders. So now let's say the repair order, they put on it, no problem found, right? Which we've seen is common sometimes. How does that affect a potential lemon law case? Does it hurt the case? Does it actually help show a pattern?
Well, it depends. Typically it hurts a case, but if you have some no problem founds, and then subsequently there's a repair that's eventually done under warranty to address the defect or the condition, then the legal argument can be made that the past repair attempts were actually misdiagnoses, but should still count towards time out of service and repair attempts to prove a lemon law claim, to prove an unreasonable repair history. So it can go to show a pattern as long as there's ultimately diagnosis and repair of the problem.
Shalev, we mentioned about some of the intermittent issues, but sometimes these defects, they create real safety risk, right? So how should someone handle that situation, especially the issues unpredictable, could be dangerous? How would you recommend they handle it?
Well, look, that's really tough. I would say again, super important to take one of the repair personnel from the repairing dealer or shop with you on a test drive. Um, if it's something very dangerous, I wouldn't even worry as much about confirming the problem. I would just get it towed to the dealership. Nothing is worth risking your life for. So, it's tough. It's the one situation actually where I would recommend to a consumer to potentially look at selling or trading out of the vehicle if it's a major safety defect and they're just unable to confirm the problem. And one caveat to that would be you could try to go to an independent third party repair shop. By independent, I just mean it's not an authorized repair shop of the manufacturer, it's not a servicing dealer, and only for diagnosis, not repair. Because if they do a repair and your vehicle's still under warranty, that could void the warranty. So it would just be to try and diagnose your vehicle. But again, if it's a major safety issue, you don't want to risk your life. I would do I would do my best to replicate the problem and get it repaired. But if that doesn't work and the problem's still happening, but you just cannot duplicate it, that is the one situation where I would say, hey, your physical health, your safety, your life is not worth it. I would look at selling or trading out of the vehicle.
Shalev, have you handled cases where the defect only appeared occasionally, like we've been talking about this intermittent issue, yet the consumer still qualified for some type of compensation or payback? And if so, what tend to make those type of cases successful?
Yes, we have had cases like that. They're more challenging, but typically what we recommend to people is what I just mentioned is if you're having trouble getting diagnosis and repair at the servicing dealer, go to an independent third party repair shop, have them diagnose, not repair, just diagnose the problem, what they believe is the source of the condition or the defect, have them put it in writing. If it's not in writing, it doesn't help you. Now, some repair shops will do that for free for you. Some it'll be a small diagnostic, like 25, 50, or $100. It's worth it. And then once you have and they can also, by the way, uh, print out the diagnostic trouble codes that the onboard computer of your vehicle might have trouble codes that show up, and they can confirm those as well. And then once you have the confirmation and diagnosis in writing from the third party repair shop, then you take that back to the authorized repairing dealership and seek repair. Because then at that point, if they don't repair the potential defects, that in and of itself could be a breach of warranty because the warranty requires repairs to defects in materials and workmanship. And if you have third party proof, that is, and truth, that this is in fact a defect issue that is occurring, and they don't do a repair, that in itself could be a breach of warranty. That in itself could be a lemon law violation. So in those situations, the dealership typically will do a repair, and then it can be argued that the prior repair attempts where they failed to confirm the problem should count towards the law. And so that's the main thing that we recommend to our clients if they're having problems getting diagnosis and repair. The other thing that we recommend is to go to a different dealership. As long as it's a dealership of the manufacturer, they're authorized to do warranty repairs. So it doesn't just have to be the selling dealership, which is where people typically take their vehicle. It could be a repair shop of the manufacturer that's closer to your house or closer to your work. And sometimes getting a fresh set of eyes can be helpful. And what we typically tell people in that situation is don't say, oh, I've taken it in a bunch of times, because that could flag to the new dealership that this could potentially be a lemon law issue. Just focus on the problem and what you're experiencing and do your best to have them diagnose it. But if this different dealership does diagnose and repair the problem, then again, the argument can be made that the prior repair attempts at the different dealership, because it was an authorized dealership of the manufacturer, that those repair attempts should still count towards the law, towards proving an unreasonable repair history. So there are ways around this problem. It just takes a little bit of extra legwork.
Shalev, as we put a bow on this episode here, so the person's having the problems, the dealership keeps dismissing it. You're probably going to repeat some stuff here, but what is a step that you would advise somebody that's listening to this, the takeaway that they should have about what they can do right now to kind of strengthen their position before things get worse with their vehicle?
The main takeaway is to just do the extra legwork to prove this is happening. So again, multiple ways to do that. Have a passenger record what's going on with the vehicle. Go to an independent third-party repair shop, have them do a diagnosis in writing over what they believe is the source of the defect. Go for a test drive with the repairing dealer, with the foreman or service advisor or the mechanic, and just be persistent. Stick with it until the problem is confirmed. And then, like I said, once it is confirmed, first and foremost, you're getting your vehicle repaired. But then if there has been too many repair attempts, typically I would say if there's 3 or more repair attempts or 25 more days in the repair shop, you may qualify for lemon law compensation at that point.
Be persistent. That's the takeaway. I love it. Shalev, it's good to see you as always. Thank you for the time and insights.
You're welcome, Mike. Good to see you too.
And thank you to everyone listening to today's installment of the Lemonaid Podcast with attorney Shalev Amar. If your vehicle has an intermittent defect, don't get mad, okay? And the dealership, they just keep brushing it off. Remember, you don't have to accept these vague answers or these no problem found notes on these orders. Enough is enough. Do me a favor right now. Visit ArizonaLemonLawAdvocates.com or other state lemonlawadvocates.com like Oregon Lemon Law Advocates, Washington, Utah, Colorado, Minnesota, New Mexico. For California residents, visit CaliforniaLemonLawAdvocate.com with no S. And in the state of Nevada, NevadaLemonLaw.info, or you can just call 1-866-904-2627 for a free lemon law evaluation. With Amar Law Group's fair, free guarantee, you're never going to pay more in attorney fees than you recover for out-of-court cash and keep resolutions. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a review, and comment, or share this episode with someone who thinks they got a lemon on their hands. As always, I'm Mike Leon. See everybody next time.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and comment below.